Hello. Today I thought I'd share some of what I did as lead sound designer for the game Memoreum. It's a sci-fi horror game for VR with inspiration from games like Dead Space and Half-Life. I was responsible for designing most of the game's sound, as well as implementing the game's dialogue and music in Wise and Unity. The character of Parker communicates a lot of important plot dialogue to the player.
Hey, Doc.
Because the player is normally able to walk away while he's speaking, I set up a system to ensure that he stays audible if they do this. I created 2 audio files for each of his dialogue lines. One which sounds like you're close to him.
I've got to clean this place up a bit.
And another which sounds like you're hearing him through a radio system.
I've got to clean this place up a bit.
I set the volume of each variant of the audio files to be mapped to your distance from Parker, so that they seamlessly fade into each other.
Nothing, huh? You're still not feeling the best, are you? I hate to say it, but I'm starting to think another session in there won't help. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I haven't had any luck here either.
I also added a raycast system which detects if there is a wall between you and Parker. If there is, his dialogue ignores the distance check and switches fully to the radio version of the sound.
That was harder than I thought. But it should feel just like your own now. Let's see if we can jog your memory. Head into the Dream Weaver whenever you're ready. In the meantime, I'm going to try to access Mo. With her, we might be able to unlock at least some of that encrypted data. Sweet dreams, Doc.
One of my favourite areas of the game to design sound for was the beach. I set up a spline system so that I could make sure that the sound of water lapping on the beach would always be positioned correctly along the shore. I also set up some randomised cricket sounds in Wise, which I positioned to come from some of the plants in the scene. I was responsible for designing sound for some of the game's boss fights. This included a large alien worm inhabiting the ship's hospital area. This fight called for some deep gurgling vocal sounds. I found camel sounds to be great source material for this. I also designed the audio for the matriarch, a large spider-like creature. I used a variety of source material, including monkeys, parrots, and other aggressive sounds. I also enjoyed making sound for some of the game's more stylized sci-fi weapons. The KNK is a gun which shoots beams of electricity. I created its sound primarily using synthesis. I also added a short burst sound to when you initially pull the trigger, and a looping idle sound which plays when you aren't firing. The Tenrai 9 is a heavy laser gun which takes time to charge up. I used a mixture of synthesis and mechanical sounds to give it a sci-fi quality with some grounding in reality. The game is out now on Quest and is coming soon to Steam. Thanks for watching.